Title: How the Tortoise Got Its Cracked Shell. In a time when animals spoke like humans, the tortoise was known as one of the wisest creatures in the land. He was clever and resourceful, but he was also proud and cunning, always scheming for his own benefit. One year, there was a great drought in the land, and food became scarce. The animals were hungry, and there seemed to be no relief in sight. One day, Tortoise overheard a secret conversation between the birds. They had been invited to a grand feast in the sky, hosted by the great Sky King, who pitied their plight. Tortoise, with his sharp mind, quickly devised a plan. He approached the birds and said, "My dear friends, I have heard of your invitation to the sky. But what a shame it would be if you went without someone wise and clever like me. I can help ensure that everything goes smoothly." The birds were hesitant, knowing Tortoise's reputation, but they finally agreed. Each bird gave Tortoise a feather to make wings so he could join them in the sky. Tortoise was thrilled, but he had one more trick up his sleeve. "Before we go," Tortoise said, "let us all choose new names for the feast. It is a grand event, after all." The birds thought this was a fun idea and agreed. Tortoise slyly chose the name All of You. When they arrived at the Sky King's palace, they were greeted with a magnificent spread of food, more than they had seen in their lifetimes. As they sat down, the Sky King said, "This feast is for all of you, my honored guests." Tortoise, with a sly grin, stood up and said, "You heard him. This feast is for me, all of you." With that, Tortoise began to eat everything in sight, leaving the birds with nothing. The birds were furious, but Tortoise just laughed, stuffing himself with the feast meant for everyone. When the feast was over, the birds had had enough of Tortoise's tricks. They decided to teach him a lesson. They each took back the feather they had given him, leaving Tortoise stranded in the sky. Tortoise, realizing his mistake too late, begged the birds to help him, but they refused. Without wings, he had no way to return to the ground. In desperation, Tortoise called down to his wife, who was tending their garden below. "My dear wife," Tortoise shouted, "please place all the soft things in our house outside. I must jump down from the sky." His wife hurriedly gathered blankets, pillows, and anything soft she could find. But Tortoise, falling from such a great height, landed not on the soft things, but on a hard rock hidden beneath them. The impact shattered his shell into many pieces. His wife wept as she carefully collected each piece and painstakingly put them back together. But no matter how carefully she worked, the shell could never be made whole again. The cracks remained, a lasting reminder of Tortoise's greed and cunning. And so, from that day on, the tortoise carried his cracked shell, a symbol of the consequences of his pride and trickery. The other animals never forgot the lesson, and neither did Tortoise, who learned that wisdom without humility can lead to a great fall.